Hold on to your mug. We're in for a wild night.
Welcome everybody to episode 84 of Born to be Wild, a Wild exclusive Hearthstone podcast where we have fun hanging out with friends, talking about the Wild format of Hearthstone and spotlighting members of the Wild community. I'm your host, as always, Nate Wolf. It is great to be back on a beautiful evening here in Portland, Oregon. We are just about to experience the daylight savings time switch over this weekend. It's dark outside right now. It's terrible, but speaking of something that's not terrible, we've got a really fun episode tonight. We're doing a lore episode, and so always really enjoy those. Very happy to be hanging out with everyone tonight. Hydra was out last week because of a work thing, and so very happy to have Hydra back. Hydra, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, and I feel like it has been forever, so it's great to be back. It's also dark and dreary over here, but it's going to be a great night, and I'm excited.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, welcome back, Electric Sheep City. Always good to see you.
Meowdy, wonderful to see you too, Nate. And y'all are talking about it being like, dark and cold, and it was like 60 today. Like people were bundled up like Eskimos. Like it was crazy, and it's just like, I'm wearing a jacket because I like jackets, but I don't need this whatsoever. Like, people go like wicked hard whenever it gets just like, colder than 70 degrees here.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
It's a thing.
Oh dear.
Oh, Texas.
Oh, you silly Texas. All right. Well, hey, we have our resident Loremaster Goliath the Dwarf in full pirate regalia for you audio listeners. So I'm very excited to have you back. And as tradition, there is a new mini set out. And so we're covering the lore tonight behind the Deadmines. So I'm very, very excited. Goliath, welcome back.
Yar! It's great to be back, ladies and gentlemen. I always really love coming on here, coming at you guys from Eastern Iowa tonight, and it is also very dark. And well, I'm about halfway latitude-wise between you guys. It's not quite as cold as you guys are probably getting up in places like Canada or whatnot. Bit colder than down in Texas. As I speak right now, it is about 46 degrees, and it's that time. Like today was the first time where I had to briefly put on my winter jacket, because we got that. We had a really mild fall up through October. Like 1st of November hits, and it seems like no more Mr. Nice Fall. We're getting back on schedule here, and we're going to be nice, cold, dreary November days, and we're going to fool you by constantly switching up the temperature throughout the day, so you have to switch between winter jacket, fall jacket, and t-shirt constantly.
Layers are important.
I hate this type of weather.
Yeah, definitely layers is kind of how we do here.
Yeah.
It's always a little bit depressing when you wake up and it's dark, you go to work and it's dark, you leave work and it's dark. It's like, oh.
I have so much harder motivation getting up earlier than I used to, especially since with my job as a newspaper journalist, I don't have a set have to be at the office schedule. It's just, when do I have an interview or when does the story due? So I have even a harder time. Like, I don't even have that external motivation unless I happen to have something scheduled that morning. Just, I want to stay in bed. This is unnatural. We are not supposed to be waking up at the dark times.
Yeah. In all fairness, as the resident Canadian, I did purposely move to the part of Canada that isn't frozen all the time during winter. It's the mild area, so like it just rains here the entire winter. It's not. I spent the most of my life growing up in like Winnipeg, Manitoba, and Edmonton, Alberta.
Ooh.
Like those places are freezing all winter long, and here it's not so bad. It's just
you made a very smart decision, comfort wise.
Yeah, no, I definitely did. So I don't have to experience the deep cold that the rest of Canada does anymore.
Nice.
So,
Yeah, I think it's pretty similar for you and I, weather-wise, anyhow.
all right. Well, how about we just dive right into how our weeks have been and what's been going on? How about let's start with you, Nate. What's been going on in either life, Hearthstone, anything you want?
Yeah, so I'm hanging in there. Health issues aside, it's gonna kind of be a long month as I'm dealing with like constant pain, but I'm in good spirits and I'm holding up. It's fine. I have some doctor's appointments next week and surgery scheduled at the end of the month, but hanging in there and I'm in good spirits, at least I will say that.
I pictured that meme of the dog when you said it's fine with like the fire in the background.
And everything's on fire. Yeah.
Yeah,
This is fine.
And then when he said hanging in there, the demotivational poster where the cat's like barely hanging on.
Yes, that is fairly accurate, but I'm really trying, I think, for my own sake. Like, I don't want to be that, constant complainer, Debbie Down or whatever. I'm like, you know what? This is temporary. I don't know. I cannot imagine what it must be like for people who live in like constant pain, because it's difficult to focus. It's difficult to sleep. It's difficult to just function. Right now I have like a heat wrap like sitting between my legs. The heat feels good, but like overall, like it's just not in a great place. But it's temporary and that's okay. And we'll make do. And I'm very happy to be hanging out with friends and chatting and learning and talking about stories and everything. If you see me squirming, don't take it personal. But I'm doing okay.
I would probably have assumed your cat was getting on you.
That's funny. But in other things, like, yeah, I'm very happy that we are now in November, with the ladder reset. Like, I feel like, oh yeah, I can finally play Hearthstone again. Because I had kind of camped out. And so what I did, which, may be a questionable thing, but like the mini set came out this past Tuesday on November the 2nd. And immediately I crafted the Defias Cannoneer and Mr. Smite in gold, untested, which was maybe a little bit questionable, but I was like positive that they were going to be good. And I had played on day one, November 1, with just Questline Pirate Warrior. I feel like I don't want to play anything that's really difficult because I'm distracted and I'm having a hard time focusing, and I wanted to just play like cards and not have to think too hard. And Pirate Warrior is a great aggro deck, and there's really not. I don't want to say there's not much to it, but like there's not much to it. And
you're already familiar with the decision points that you're coming across,
oh,
right?
yeah.
Like you've been playing the deck for a while now, so
a long time. It's second nature and it's fun. And I kind of thought, well, it's going to be. It feels kind of like it's in a good place, and I'm very comfortable with it. I think you make a good point, because I had thought, oh yeah, I could play even Reno Warlock, I could play something else, but like requires a lot more decision making and a lot more getting familiar with the deck that I'm not as familiar with. And I thought, let me play like an old favorite. And so I spent day one just playing, the existing version. And so when the new cards came out on Tuesday, I got the mini set. I crafted these in gold. I swapped them out for the cards of the same mana cost. So I took out Stormwind Freebooter. That's the 3 mana 3/4 that gives you +2 attack for 1 turn, and swapped and put in the Cannoneer. I pulled out Skycap and Crag, which is the 6 mana 4/6 charge that reduces cost with all your pirates, and I put in Mr. Smite. And and then I hit Legend that night, so it worked. Surprise! So
Success.
It worked great. Cannoneer feels absolutely busted to me. It's just it does so much damage. Mr. Smite, it's kind of slow, but my goodness, it's a finisher. And I had there was one turn I got lethal where you play Rokara, the reward for the quest. And so start of the turn, you play a pirate, or like you get a pirate, right? Random pirate, you launch a cannon shot. I played Mr. Smite, and I had a parachute brigand in my hand, which it pulled. And so then the new card from Rokara plus the brigand plus this all have charge. And it was like, sweet.
Nice.
That's incredible.
So my final boss was against a priest, and I won on turn 4. I had 2. It was like...
Is that a new class?
It's been absent for a while. The people trying this pirate priest, I'm actually, we'll talk about it in a minute, but like, was kind of interested to see how the new Defias Leper would work in, I think that's what it's called, the new pirate priest card.
Yeah.
Just didn't get around to it. But what was I gonna say? Oh, I had two ship's cannons out, and then I had pulled my weapon, my Ankar, and I played a Defias Cannoneer and swung face. And so on that turn, it's like, okay, cannon shot, swing, 2 more cannon shots, and my opponent just conceded. It was like, oh, go bother. So
They
I
noped right out of that one.
oh yeah, it was like extremely degenerate. I don't like the deck is I don't know. You know, it feels very strong. I'm sure that I don't know. People complain about it. Is it broken? Like, no. But like, is it strong? Yes, it's really strong.
Did you see a lot of Galaka crawlers on the climb?
I saw some, but like, they don't really bother me too much. I mean, 50% of this deck is 1-cost cards.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like
just killing your 1/1s.
And it's like, you know what? You're just trying to complete the quest. And the deck that I kept losing against over and over was Odd Questline Hunter, because you play minions and they kill your minions, and killing your minions like completes their quest. And it was like I just couldn't stick a board, and then they kill you with Tavish. And
So whenever you'd get Galaka Crawlered, it was like the meme. Oh no. Anyways.
exactly.
So many memes tonight.
Good time. So I entered at rank 55, which was nice. I like that. The legend climb was one of the easier ones that I've had in ages. Like, it was literally about no more than an hour. It was probably closer to 30 minutes. Like, it was just, the games are so fast, and
Wow.
I don't know, it was great. Because last month I was playing on the iPad, and it was like just really struggled, and this was just smooth sailing. So I didn't see any
pirates.
Hey, that's a good one. I didn't see any pirate priest or shadow priest at all, which was surprising. I ran into a handful of priests, and none of them were aggro priest, and I don't know
Big
why.
priest?
Maybe they didn't live long enough for me to find out. So I don't know. I like winning on turn 5. It's nice. I mean, sometimes it's a little bit later if you're waiting for Rokara, but there were sometimes like you didn't even have to play Rokara. I mean, you just smash face. I've turned into this degenerate aggro player over the past handful of months, and
That's what happens when they
corrupt.
take away your Q block and
yeah. I mean, if they want to slow down the meta, I enjoy playing some good old Reno Warlock and Reno Priest, but they're just too slow at the moment. So this is what we've come down to. Anyways, yeah. In other things, I've finished 9 seasons of Seinfeld. It is done. And so,
Wow.
you know, I don't know. So I'm sitting here like, what do I watch next? I don't know. And people would tell me like, oh, check out Curb Your Enthusiasm, because it's got
Larry David.
Larry David, who produced Seinfeld with Seinfeld. And I've tried watching the first episode like 3 times, and I swear it looks like it's filmed like a bad home video, and it's cringy, and I just really struggling to like maintain interest in it. So if you all say it's good, like I'll give it another shot.
Yeah, it does get better. The first episode in particular, he was kind of finding his footing, and it was very much a very true pilot, right? So the rest of that season gets better, and subsequent seasons are even better than the first season. So,
Okay,
for sure.
All right, I'll try it. I had canceled my HBO account, and then they told me, well, you have it through November 5th, and then there was stuff I wanted to watch in there, so I renewed it. the new Matrix is coming out very soon, which I'm looking forward to.
Wait, what? Another Matrix movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't.
Oh.
It's either November, maybe December. I don't recall, but it's very soon. And there's some other stuff on there with Halloween. Like I've been watching the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, which are terrible, but it's something to pass the time. But I am interested in TV or movie recommendations if y'all have good ones. So I've got Netflix, I've got Amazon Prime, I've got Hulu, HBO, Paramount Plus, we've got Disney Plus, all that stuff. I don't have regular cable, but I've got all the little streaming things. And
Who needs regular cable these days?
yeah, no, but it's too expensive. It's too expensive, and some of these are pretty cheap. And so, anyways, I'll happily take recommendations from y'all. But yeah, anyways, that's kind of what I've been up to. I bought a Lazy Boy recliner because I knew I'm gonna have to like sit in it after surgery, and it's been nice to kind of just lounge. I'll sit in there, watch TV, play Mercenaries on the iPad. It's been good. Nice. I like it. So yeah, that's me. Sheep, yeah, what have you been up to?
Yeah, so this week in particular, work has taken over my life. So whenever I have been going to sleep, it's been, fairly early. Basically been working on a lot of work projects once I've been home. Outside of that, so a lot of work. The other morning, gosh, I guess it was the 3rd because the mini set was already out. I was like silver in Wild, and I just hadn't played a whole lot yet because I wanted to play with the new cards, right? And so in the morning, I made my own Pirate Priest and proceeded to not lose a game until I was already D5.
Wow.
That's nuts.
I don't think that it was a very refined list, and still it just wrecked shop.
How did you like the new card?
I liked it a lot. So I'm not sure exactly if like this is the spell build I'm going to end up with, because it's got Shadow Visions and Thrive in the Shadows, Mind Blast, of course, and Raise Dead. Mm-hmm. So it's got 8 shadow spells, right? So it's got a good critical mass to where typically, even if I'm pitching things back, like I don't want to have Raise Dead in hand. I want to get things to put into my Raise Dead pool before actually getting there. I don't want Thrive in the Shadows. I want, proactive minions at that point. Typically, even whenever I'm like full mulling, I'll have something in hand, by turn 2 or other things to do. But largely I'll actually have something to do. Or something in hand to plop down a 3/2 that deals a cannon shot. So it's been feeling pretty good. But so that was Wednesday. Thursday, I went to sleep like wicked early. Like I fell asleep on the couch like right after dinner. Like I was just like zonked. So this morning I woke up at because that was at 7:38, like it was very early, which means that I woke up at about 2 and was just up because I fell asleep on the couch at 7 p.m. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna jam some games. I'm playing my Pirate Priest. It's not really doing too well, but I come across this aggro druid that plays this carpenter and into Hidden Oasis and gets a free 6/6, and I'm like, oh, we must have read that card wrong. Whenever it splits the card, it makes them 0 cost. I want free 6/6s. So I adapt my aggro druid, I cut some cards, I put it in, I make, the aggro druid with Carpenter and Hidden Oasis, and I take it to ladder, and I just climb wicked fast from Diamond 5 to Legend this morning. And I'm like, yeah, this is so much fun. Aggro druid with a stupid cheap 6/6. Let's go.
Come to find out.
Yeah. Then I got on Twitter.
People are not happy.
Oh no, the Hidden Oasis interaction is a bug. And it's not that everything is just 0 cost. And they're like, oh, all the choose ones are really cheap. anyway, like, no, it was just broken. And so I didn't mean to take advantage of a bug. I just woke up at, 2 a.m. And as you can see on my little like screenshot there, it was like 4 a.m. whenever I hit legend. Like, I
Not exactly the most critical thinking part time for your brain.
exactly.
But the deck was so good that even when you were in the best place, you could still hit legend.
Well, and kind of like Nate was saying with the, having really familiar decision points, aggro druid, like, that's my jam, right? Like,
Yeah.
I love that deck. I love that archetype. The taunt build, which is what I adapted into this, is one that I've piloted extensively in standard and wild. Like, it's one of my favorite archetypes. And so, making a few slight, tweaks to include that into it, it just worked really well, right? Because I'm already running a lot of pirates to pull patches and what was it, Bloodsail Cult? Not the cultist, the one that takes away a durability from your opponent's weapon. Like I'm already running all of those anyway, and big in to pull the stuff, and so it's like, oh yeah, like this is very very familiar, and yeah. So I've since figuring out that card is bugged. I've come up with a theory craft of aggro druid using Carpenter with like Power of the Wild and Sow the Soil, and things that I think will work pretty well. I think it'll still be kind of viable, but I mean, I don't think it'll be quite as strong as
A 0-mana 6/6.
right.
On turn 2?
Yeah. It also won't be quite as strong as like Odd Quest Line Hunter or Pirate Warrior, right? Like it just won't be. But it has a lot of potential, and I'm excited to try it out whenever I can actually try it out and people won't think that I'm trying to take advantage of a bug, which even when I was playing it, I wasn't trying to take advantage of a bug. I just, man, I thought that's how it worked, and I was like, cool.
I feel bad because you felt so bad about it later. It was like, oh, I didn't mean to be part of the problem.
I'm sorry.
Not like this. So it was really fun to play around with the archetype and it being like really strong, even if it was because of a bug. So I'm excited to try it out in a post-bug meta here before too long. So that's been my week. A lot of work. Actually, not a whole lot of mercs even. So that's mostly been my Hearthstoning this week. It's mostly just been work and Hearthstoning. So yeah, that's been life here in the city of Electric Sheep. Goliath, how was your week, friend?
In order to explain how my week has been going, I need to briefly explain what happened to me the week before, which was interesting. So some of you guys know. So I recently had a birthday on October 24th. I'm 26, in case you were wondering. And so I realized that, holy cow, I haven't used any of my vacation time like all year, and I have to use a certain amount. Only so much rolls over, so I'm just gonna take the week off my birthday. I'll just lay back, not have to worry about doing any work. Just be able to follow my whims or whatnot. So the first thing I did was on Tuesday, I drove like the longest that I've ever been on a road trip to Milwaukee to go to. They have a great zoo there, and I was just amazing. Like I realized that I am incredibly in love with adorable small and baby monkeys. They are just like the cutest things ever.
Cut from the same cloth.
I saw like these little baby like Japanese macaques that were like horsing around together, and an animal that I'd seen in picture books and been my favorite monkey since I was a kid, but never seen in real life, called the Golden Lion Tamarin. If you don't know what they are, look them up. They are just the most adorable little orange golden monkeys, my favorite color, with this big mane of fur around them. And being a shutterbug, I just took so many pictures and whatnot. So that part was a really good day. While I was still in town before I left, I get a call from my landlord who says, hey, so you know how you live on the basement level of the building? your apartment flooded and the one down there because there was a pipe that burst down in the maintenance closet. And so, yeah, but thankfully, it was only about 2 inches of water before they got everything turned off, and none of my stuff was damaged. This room I'm in right now, actually, the water didn't even get to, thank goodness, which I was most worried, like, I have my computer, my bookshelves, all that stuff I don't want damaged.
I cannot believe that you managed to like have your apartment flood and not have your stuff get terribly damaged.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
that's incredible.
Yes, that part is great. And I was very relieved to learn that I didn't have to deal with all that stuff in my own personal possessions.
Did you automatically take every book that was on the bottom shelf and like, I'm gonna put these on the top shelf now?
No, because I don't really have room on the top shelves for everything that's on the bottom shelves. Also, I wasn't around the apartment for a while because the people who come to clean it up, they had to tear up all of the flooring in all the other rooms and have these industrial grade dehumidifiers and fans everywhere for like a week, and which makes it impossible to sleep, impossible to really live in a place where you have to step around fans all the time. So I ended up staying at my parents, who live about a half hour's drive away, for most of the week, which really cut into my ability to play my typical games, including Hearthstone, because my desktop is right here. I'm not a mobile guy. I tried. I had my phone with me. You would not believe how long it took me to find enough apps that I could afford to uninstall in order to make room on my phone for Hearthstone. It is massive.
It's a huge game.
Yeah, and I had to get on my SD card, and so it's really slow and janky. So like it's not even really all that much fun to play, but I wanted to log in for dailies and some mercs and all that stuff. So I managed to do a bit of that, but this past week, they finally got all that stuff out. Right now, my apartment is back to normal, with the exception that all of the rooms do not have flooring on them, so that stuff's supposed to come in a couple days when I get new carpeting and whatnot. The real ironic thing here, like, I can laugh at my own situations. I love cosmic irony. Not only was this like the one day that I got my homebody self out on the longest trip I had ever been away from my apartment, the one day something happens to the apartment, I had just finished steam cleaning the entire apartment the night before.
Oh, that is cosmic irony.
I know, right?
Really?
Yeah.
That's
so. That's the story, but I've been being able to live a relatively normal life for this past week, getting back into Hearthstone, trying to make up for everything I missed, of course, getting back into my work schedule and readjusting to that after a week of being off, which, as I already said, it's hard enough getting up at this point. The reminder, oh yeah, I'm back at work now. But yeah, it's overall been pretty good. I've been having some fun with I saved up enough gold to be able to get the mini sets on the first day, and I'm relieved that now I don't have to have that restraint anymore. I can just buy things every time I get 100 or 150 or whatnot. Nice. Because that was a struggle for me to keep resisting but I want cards that, I could get legendary if I got this pack or whatnot. Like, no, save for the guarantee of all the new cards. But I did get that stuff, and much like Nate, I immediately launched into a Pirate Warrior with a couple adaptations because it's thematic, and it was something that I was confident that I'd just felt like doing right now. I didn't feel like trying to experiment with other stuff. Recently, over this past week, I saved up enough dust where I could craft another legendary. Nate helped me to get a Shadow Pirate, Shadow Pirate deck. And so I crafted Dark Bishop Benedictus because I wanted an excuse to craft him, because that's just it's as much fun as I thought it would be to just be able to do the damage right off from the start as priest. Have a different way of playing priest. And then coincidentally, the other card that I had been considering crafting, which is the Hunter quest line, I happened to get as part of an arena pack from the technique that everybody does where you make sure that you have unfinished games before the reset so you get the free tickets. And so one of those free ticket games in which I lost every single one because I absolutely suck at arena.
Bad at it too.
But I got the free Hunter quest, so I've been trying to toy around with that a bit too. And I've been attempting a bit of a Death Rattle Priest just because I wanted to try to go for the monstrous parrot achievement, but I think that achievement's broken or something right now because I'm not getting any credit for Death Rattles I copy with it. The deck isn't even very good. I am not a good deck builder at all, but I like throwing together things by themes, and that's been decently fun as long as I'm not worried about rank when I'm playing it. Yeah, that's for the day the mini set came out was quite the hurried morning for me because in addition to not being able to play Hearthstone while I was out at my parents', I couldn't work on my Hearthstone articles for Out of Cards, and so I was a bit behind, and so I had to write the whole thing up in like a couple of hours if I wanted to get it before the mini set came out. So that's the info that we'll all be talking about tonight, the story I wrote in there, but that was. It got kind of an adrenaline rush there about making sure that I get out just in time to be able to play everything. But yeah, that was that's been how I've been lately.
What a crazy week. I guess two quick things for me. Number one, the article is fantastic, absolutely fantastic. We'll cover most of it tonight, but y'all should read it anyways if you have not already. The other pieces, I when we were talking last week or over the past week about what legendary card you were going to craft, like I was so happy for you that you chose to craft the Benedictus and then opened the Hunter quest. Like if you had crafted the Hunter quest, there's no who knows what legendary card you would have opened.
Yeah.
And so I'm really happy that worked out for you. That's great because now you got both.
Yay.
So good news. Yeah, that's good news.
Great polls.
All right.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Hydra, what have you been up to?
Well, this past week and a bit, because I was not here last week, I've been playing the absolute crap out of Mercs. I have, I leveled everything to 30.
Nice.
So
nice.
I got that done, which was great. I've maxed a dozen or more of the Mercs completely with their tasks, like getting all their equipment maxed and their skills maxed and everything. And a bunch of the Mercs I have got enough coins to max them. I just don't have their task 7s yet. So as soon as I've got their task 7s done, they'll be maxed because I have like over 1,000 coins just sitting there doing nothing, kind of thing.
Very cool.
So it's just a matter of time to just go do those tasks and get them done. So I'm knocking them off. Sheep, I don't know how you did it so quick. I feel like I've been playing this game every single day, trying to get it done. Though you did get more, I suppose, Baron's air elemental right at the beginning. So,
I went pretty hard on air elemental, not gonna lie.
yeah, I did too, but yeah, nowhere near as hard. If I knew they were gonna take it away, I would have gone harder. But I've done a lot of that, and actually, because of that, I've done something out of the norm for me.
Ooh.
I, for the last 2 weeks, have abandoned completing my quests on Asia and EU. I did not do my weeklies or my dailies for the last 2 weeks. And guess
Lisk HS.
Guess what? It was freeing. It felt amazing. It did, because you know what? I was sitting there. This is not this Sunday, but the Sunday before, and I was looking at my quests, and I thought, okay, I have got a few hours to complete these, get them out of the way, so I can get new ones to like later in the day, because it happens on Sunday in those servers. And I was like, but I don't want to. I want to play Mercenaries. Like I don't want to do these quests right now. And I thought about it, I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna do it. Screw you, don't make me do the quest. I will be fine. And it was funny because I actually didn't feel that bad afterwards. I'm like, you know what? I played the game that I want, the way I wanted to play it, and then I didn't feel bad. And then I managed to let it go the next week without even like the bat of an eye.
Nice.
And it felt good. Like on EU and Asia, I had enough to buy like 5,000 gold on both those accounts each. So I still bought the mini set for the 2,000 gold and have about 3,000 to spare. So it wasn't a big deal. I've already hit the rewards track 100.
Yeah.
On them. So like in the end, basically, I missed out on the extra levels post 100. They're sitting around like 150-ish or something like that. And so what? I missed maybe 5 levels of gold, something like that. But it was very freeing. It was, because I feel like I've been a slave to it for a very long time and I can't help myself but complete them. But yeah, I let it go. And not to say that I'm not going to continue doing the quests, but I wanted to play Hearthstone the way I wanted to play it. And I didn't let it make me do the quests.
If you do it again, it'll be your choice, not a compulsion.
Yeah, and I've been doing that for a while, like jamming them, staying up like later than I want to at night, trying to make sure that it's done every week on every server. And yeah, it actually really felt good. And like I said, I let it go the next week, and it was great. One thing that I really enjoyed while playing Mercenaries, because the grind is a little brainless, so I watched a lot of Netflix, which was good. You guys had recommended Midnight Mass to me. Holy crap, was that an amazing show.
I'm glad you liked it.
Good.
It was like for the people that haven't watched it, I won't say too much, but like by a few episodes in, it was different than what I thought was happening, and I think it was extremely well done. I appreciated the writing, the acting. It was all really good. I can't say enough about it. It was a good show. If you haven't watched it yet and you're like a fan of that sort of, it's very Stephen King-esque. When I was watching it, like Salem's Lot was in my head, and like different other things like that. Creepy stuff. The creepy stuff that he writes about, it fully fit like in there. Just it's very ominous. It's got the from the beginning, there's just these kids in this town, and the things that Stephen King would write about, like with the group, like in It, when they got the kids, and Stand By Me and that stuff. And then just the whole story, there's all these different characters in this town that you learn about, and it was really neat the way it was written. I really liked it. And then since I watched that, then I automatically wanted to watch other things of the genre. So I randomly watched The Dead Zone, because I've never seen that movie. And have you seen it? Any of you guys?
I don't
No, I actually haven't seen it.
So that's another Stephen King book turned into movie. It was good. I think that it's something that I would like to read the book for, because it was about, I don't know, an hour and 50 minutes, something like that, just under 2 hours. And from what I saw, I feel like the book would be really good, because you can't fit, like I could tell there was stuff being cut out that would have been in the novel, sort of thing. Like they were jumping, because you got your 2 hour time limit or whatever. But it was great. I really did like it.
Kind of like the difference between the Dark Tower series and the
the movie.
movie that,
Like, I don't
cut
know.
out a little bit in that movie.
The Dark Tower series is going great for me. I'm on book 4, and the connections just keep happening over and over to the other stuff. And something in book 4 that just happened blew my mind. That is to one of his other books, and the way that he intertwines the series, like the different types, the different novels that he has, is just genius. It's great.
Nice.
And yeah, every time you come across another connection, it's just awesome. I also watched The Mist, the movie, and The Mist, the series. Now, the series only lasts for one season, both Stephen King, by the way. It's only for one season. It was in 2017, and then I watched the movie, which was I think 2007, 2008, and they're have the same premise, but they're also very different than each other. Did any of you guys watch or read these at all?
I've read the book. It's a short story, so I'm like, I think the audio book of it is maybe a few hours. Like it's pretty short. Like it's a one discer, I think.
Okay, well, I can
maybe
see
two.
why.
Like it's relatively short, and so I think that they took some liberties, but like it was a good story. I remember the ending of it being like pretty gut wrenching. I don't want to spoil it, and I don't know. I assume they could have changed it for the movie or the series as well.
Well, I'll tell you, the ending of the movie was pretty gut wrenching as well. So
It's probably the same. Then.
and for the series, there was just the season 1, so there is no ending. We don't know what happens at the end of that one.
Okay,
because
It was canceled.
Yeah, it got canceled after the first season.
I hate it when shows do that. They leave right on the cliffhanger and like leave you wanting more, but never deliver because it got canceled. Ugh.
Yeah, so don't know what happens there, and that's the one I watched first. So I'm like, what the heck? So then I watched them. Yeah, right. You get to the end of it, and there's no ending.
To be continued.
Yeah.
And then I saw that there was the movie, so I watched the movie, and that one had the ending. And even then, I was like, "What the heck?"
Oh no!
Have you ever watched Castle Rock, the series?
I've watched 30 Rock.
I started watching it at one point.
yeah.
It's very different from 30 Rock.
Fraggle Rock.
Very different from Fraggle Rock.
Fraggle,
too.
yeah.
Very good.
I enjoy down at Fraggle Rock. Yes, particularly the music. So Castle Rock is a made for TV series that's based on the works of Stephen King, and so they jam a bunch of different themes from different stories kind of all into this TV show that takes place in like the fictional main town, right, of Castle Rock. And I only watched the first couple episodes of it, and it was like I wanted to wait until there was a whole bunch out so I could binge it. And so I haven't watched it, but now there's like multiple seasons of it, and it's all on like, I don't know, Netflix and Hulu and whatever. Is it Hulu? Yeah.
Yeah, because I was the same way, Nate. Like I started watching it, and then more came out, and I didn't know more had come out yet. And so now a lot has come out, and yeah, that may be the next rabbit hole I go down. Not gonna lie.
Stephen King, historically, like his books were made into movies and they were just bad. Like
That's the main thing that I know about it. Like I ever since I was a kid, I'm one of those people who has like such an overactive imagination that I cannot allow myself to entertain reading any type of book that's meant to scare me or whatnot, otherwise I'll have trouble sleeping. Let me put it this way. When I was a kid and I learned the mere premise of the story of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, I stayed awake for like 48 hours because the mere concept of drinking something that turns you evil terrified me so much. So but I am aware, I have seen a lot of YouTube videos that like are talking about how horrible most of the Stephen King movies are, and I watch those because they're so bad it's funny, it's not scary for me, like the reviews, not the movies themselves.
Yeah,
but
it's such a shame.
That's what I know about Stephen King. And I saw the trailer when I was at another movie for that Gunslinger movie, which is all I know of The Dark Tower. So every time you say you're reading The Dark Tower, that is all I can picture.
Well, don't.
Don't watch that one. No.
I've only heard bad things, but the books so far have been absolutely amazing.
Okay.
Yeah. So even the Stephen King movies that are really critically acclaimed, but for example, The Shining, Stephen King hates the Stanley
Really?
Kubrick The Shining. Absolutely hates it.
And it's amazing.
It's so good. I can see where he's coming from though, because like the Jack Torrance character doesn't like get corrupted. He's the same way from the very beginning. Just not a spoiler for the movie because like he's that way from the very beginning. So I can see what he's talking about there. But oh my gosh, and the Shawshank Redemption. I completely forgot that was a Stephen King.
There are there are some good ones. Okay, the made for TV It movie with Curry
Tim Curry.
Tim Curry,
Curry.
right. Okay, that was
Aha.
that was great. Shawshank Redemption is great. The Green Mile was fantastic.
The Shining.
The Shining, Hearts in Atlantis was good. The
Carrie,
Carrie's
Pet
good.
Cemetery.
yeah, I didn't.
I put Pet Cemetery almost there. It's still kind of.
Yeah, the book.
It's almost there.
The book was one of the most intense books I've ever read. The movie was like, the new movie I really did not care for at all.
I didn't try it. I did not see the new one.
And some of his other stuff, especially in the like 80s and 90s, were not great adaptations. Needful Things and Tommy Knockers and some of those were like not great. The more recent stuff have been pretty good. So
The Doctor Sleep movie was incredible.
Doctor Sleep was very, very good, and so
They had a lot to live up to with that, so it better have been good.
And it delivered. And I hadn't until you impressed upon us to watch the director's cut. I hadn't watched the director's cut. I just saw the theatrical. The theatrical was really good. The director's cut was even better.
It's really good.
They killed it.
I love how this Hearthstone show has suddenly become history of Stephen King films.
Yeah, we've got a weekly Stephen King segment.
I mean, kind of, yeah.
No, check this out. It's funny that we're talking about this because I was at my local library this past week. I did not know that we were going to be talking about this, but look at this book I have here. It is called Stephen King at the Movies: A Complete History of the Film and Television Adaptations from the Master of Horror. There you go.
Whoa.
And so
That's convenient.
there's a lot of stuff in here that I didn't
Product
even
placement.
think about.
You wanted us
so-
into this conversation just so you could show off your book.
Hey, I borrowed it from the library, and it's probably about time that I return it, actually. But
Yeah, because Pennywise will come and get you.
the library policeman will come and get me. That's a story that in Nightmares and Dreamscapes, I believe, the library policeman.
Really?
Oh, it's a good one, actually. Oh dear.
Yeah, but basically that's been my week. It's been a whole lot of playing Mercenaries, playing Netflix on the other monitor. I also crafted the Defias Cannoneer and Smite in gold, just because, you can't have a full golden pirate deck and then, swap out into just some like other, just plain regular cards. You need to have the golden ones. So I totally had to craft the golden ones. The dust was there, so now it's not.
I'm proud of you. I'm very proud of you for doing that. That's great.
I wish I could afford those first world problems in Hearthstone.
All right. Well, we've got some news real quick that we should probably cover. There's not a lot, but there's a little bit. We're just skipping listener series because it's kind of done and we're not ready to move on to the next season yet. But
Yeah, so if you have any suggestions, drop it in the Listener Series Discord. This has been the Listener Series segment.
excellent. There we go. Listener series news. All right, here we go. So there are a few things. This past Tuesday, November 2nd, was the launch of the Deadmines mini set. Cool. There's a bunch of new cards. We covered it last week. So that's out now. I have barely played with them aside from the pirate warrior cards because I fell in love. And I'm sure there are other cool cards as well. Now that I'm Legend in Wild, I'll move over to Standard and try some of that stuff where it's not quite as fast or broken.
Yeah, they don't have Hidden Oasis in Standard.
No. Okay, so there was a blog post this past week about Mercenaries. It was called What's Next? This was also from November the 2nd, and I have some kind of bullet points here of what they had mentioned in the article. So, as we talked about last week, 5 new Mercenaries added. So, Edwin, Eudora, Smite, Cookie, and I don't know, one other one.
Edwin, Smite, Eudora, Cookie.
Oh, Sneed, right?
Sneed.
Yeah, right, of course.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Okay. But a couple of changes. The task board, that's where you get your daily quests. I guess initially it only added 2 quests per day, and now it refills the entire thing. And so that's cool. They are talking about a new building incoming called a training hall, where they said that when it's available, right? It's not yet, but they're talking about it. They said that you can put your mercs there and they will passively gain XP throughout the day, which I thought was interesting.
I think I remember hearing something about that even before it released. I was wondering why I didn't see it. Seemed like they mentioned that like eventually you can upgrade to a portal. Is that thing people can do yet and I just haven't figured it out, or is that not released yet either?
I think it's just not released
Yeah,
yet.
they said coming in a future patch. No date yet. But
Okay, gotcha.
what's interesting is like for those of us who like all of your mercenaries are at level 30. Like, okay, what am I gonna do with this? But anyways,
I mean, it's like the daycare in Pokemon. Like, whenever new mercenaries come out, you can dump them there instead of like grinding it. Makes sense.
that's cool.
So, in the daycare and Pokemon, when they say you can, put them in here to gain passive experience throughout the day, when they say throughout the day, does that mean throughout the day while you're playing other mercenary stuff, or throughout the day while you're at work?
TBD. We shall have to see.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. I imagine, here's my thought, and I could be totally wrong. What it probably looks like is, you can put them in here and they will passively gain a small to moderate amount of XP throughout the day, but like while they're in there, you can't use them for other quests and stuff. And then if you wanted to speed up
That
the
makes
process,
sense.
you probably have to pay coins or something like that. Would be my guess. That's how these things usually I've seen work in the past, but I don't know.
Like the daycare from Pokemon.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see. They said that they are working on fine tuning the PvP MMR and also the PvE boss difficulty levels, and potentially tweaking the associated rewards. So we'll see what that looks like. They said that some of the bosses were too difficult, and they're looking at tweaking rewards for people who are trying to use those to get coins for their specific mercenaries to level up. So we'll see. I mean, a lot of this is like, we're working on this thing, and I don't have an answer yet. They said that they are exploring changes for how duplicate mercs work. And so I don't know what that means, but I'm interested. And this is the next piece is kind of funny because I had complained extensively about this. They said for those people who had pre-purchased the portrait bundles before the game came out, that they had received plenty of feedback and some complaints, and that basically these were not working as people thought that they would. And so each player who pre-purchased any of those mercenary bundles is going to get a free base version of that mercenary added to their collection. And so, I remember my dismay at like having the, this diamond or golden rather Sylvanas, because I got the pre-order and then I bought this bundle. And like, I wasn't sure what was going to happen, but it was like, oh yeah, here's the base version. And I was like, I thought I had the base version. Oh, nope, you don't. You still need to open it. I was like, yeah, but I have the gold. Like, nope, doesn't matter. You still need the base version. So
As soon as I saw that announcement, you were the first thing that I thought of, because I remember it too. And it's like, well, that's I don't know how many other people, but I know at least Nate will be happy about this.
the funny thing is, by now I think I have them. I don't know. So they said that if you already have it, you get 100 coins. I still have the question, as I'm sure many others do, is what in the world are we going to do with all of these coins that we're amassing for maxed out mercenaries?
Can't even hold all these coins. Got way too many of them.
I've got like
Put them in your
gotta be
huge McDuck vault, obviously.
I've got like 10,000 carriel points, and
Go to the Merc slots.
Maybe a bank that has a ridiculous transfer rate. Oh, sure. Let's see. I'll give you say you have 10,000. I'll give you 1,000 carryals for one of any other. I mean,
So
right?
So I have an idea of how this could work, and it basically involves making dust essentially, right?
Yeah.
So you have to have like, you can disenchant coins, right? Rare, you disenchant for 20 dust, just like you do for, rare and normal stuff. And then if you want to craft an epic coin, it costs 400 dust. It's basically the exchange rate, right? That's basically what dust is.
Sure.
That's what we've got now.
So for Hearthstone cards, like normally we have the arcane dust. What would you call the dust type for mercenaries? If you
Coin
had
filings.
Coin filings. I was thinking Stardust, since they're like the more mercs and they're the stars of the show. I don't know. It's a stretch.
Yeah.
Or just gold dust, maybe. I don't know. Since they're coins. But no, that might be with gold.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh, yeah, true.
They'll have to sort it out sooner or later. It was interesting. We were talking offline about this, and it's like, oh, I'm sure that they probably, have some plan for what we're going to do with all these. And then we were like, well, I wonder if they really realized how hard some people were going to grind this game. Like, maybe they didn't expect so many people to like max everything out in 2 to 3 weeks.
I didn't. And I couldn't comprehend anyone wanting to do that.
My bad.
I've wanted to do it.
I'm awfully close. I'm very close. I'm probably 5 or 6 away, minus the new cards, and so I'm right there as well. So we'll see. I mean, they'll have to do something. I just don't know what it's going to be. They did say
there's been a lot of complaints that the board space is very empty. Maybe you can spend them on cosmetics, put cool things on the board.
Something? I hope. I don't know. They did
say
for
more cosmetics, man. I love cosmetic collecting and customization.
Yeah, so do I.
That is my thing in almost any game I play, to be honest.
Oh, so with the like Cariel coins, you can make a Cariel board, or so if you want an Edwin board, then you have to like grind Edwin coins to get there. That could be kind of cool,
right? Yeah, little accessories that would go with each one.
I like it.
Yeah,
I'm up for that.
Cool. They did say that they are exploring more ways to get more portraits and better pack logic. So I'm really appreciative of that, because I think that we have sort of realized that like legendary portraits are very hard to obtain. Diamond portraits are like ridiculously rare, which is not, I read all of the
point.
No, I mean it is, but at the same time, like there are some people who shall remain nameless who have bought many more packs than they probably should have, and and there are at least 2 people that I'm looking at right now, myself included, that may fall into this category. So I looked at the pack logic on the website. Like I was looking at the legal terms, right? And I think that they said that the diamond pull rate was supposed to be approximately 20% or something. And I was like, I don't
20%?
I don't think
that's
I don't know your exact amount of packs that you've got, but it sounds like something where you think a 20% would pull off. That's better. That's so much better than like the drop rates in a MMO like World of Warcraft or others, where like you have the really rare items and it's like, oh yeah, you can get this. There's like a 0.01% chance for it to drop from the final boss. Those sound like the odds you're working with here, not 20%.
So I think that it first has to roll onto that mercenary, right? And so legendary mercenaries are rare to get in general. And then once you've rolled onto that mercenary, then it's probably a 20% from there.
It's a percent on a percent. And
right.
The rarer you get, it's slot machines. It's what are the odds you're going to get all of the numbers to line up?
Yeah, so it's not 20%.
Oh wait, no, here it is. Here it is.
It's my guess. No.
I found it. I'm looking at it. Okay, I'm looking at it right now. I'm looking at I did my homework. Okay, here we go. Mercenaries portrait drop rates. All mercenaries have 3 golden mercenary portraits. All legendary mercenaries also have a diamond mercenary portrait. This is incorrect, by the way, because
Yeah, Grom does not.
Grom doesn't have one.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, doesn't seem that many that have diamonds.
No, I think somebody just forgot to put it in.
Grom's supposed to be epic.
They'll join an update someday.
Yeah. Okay. Whenever you obtain a mercenary portrait from a pack, the portrait you receive will be based on the following baseline percentages. For legendary mercenaries, 30% chance to get each of the 3 golden portraits and 10% chance to get the diamond portrait. For rare and epic mercenaries, 33.3% chance to get each of the 3 golden portraits. When you obtain a mercenary portrait, the drop rate for the remaining mercenary portraits is dynamically recalculated with new proportions based on your individual collection of portraits for that mercenary. You will not obtain the same mercenary portrait until you own all the mercenary portraits for that mercenary. Once you own all the portraits for a mercenary, you can obtain a second copy of a mercenary portrait, which will automatically be converted into coins for that mercenary. 50 coins for rare, 75 coins for epic, and 100 coins for legendary mercenaries. Occasionally, you may obtain a mercenary portrait prior to obtaining its mercenary card. When that happens, you will be able to play that mercenary with the mercenary portrait, and you could get the mercenary card from packs. Did you find this article helpful?
No.
Nate, I'm not sure if it's just the fact that you're reading it and I know what you do for a living, but I feel like someone is reading to me a legal contract to sign and my eyes are glazing over.
That is. Who do you think wrote that? Yeah, I will tell you.
I understand it. So basically, for the just regular ones that aren't legendary, 33% for all of them, right? Like if you're getting a portrait, they have the same rate per one. If you're getting a legendary portrait, then the gold ones have a higher percent to get it, whereas the diamond has a lower percent to get that. So like 30% for the gold ones and 20% for the non-gold ones is basically what it is there. They went into the weeds a little bit more, probably, because they're being as clinical and whatnot of it.
Well,
if you're getting a portrait, odds are you're going to get the non-diamond first because you have a higher percentage chance, but it's all percentages. You could still get the diamond one first. You just high roll if you do.
There's also like loot box laws, and so they have to like legally spell this stuff out.
Yeah.
They can't just say, "Oh, you've got a chance." Like they have to tell us what the chance is because.
Right.
So here's what happens if they don't. Right. Without going down too deep of a rabbit hole, if I say, "Oh, you've got a chance to pull one of these," but I don't say what the chance is, and then I spend $500 on these and I don't get it, then I'm gonna say, "Well, I relied on you. Like you said that I was gonna get this and I didn't get it," and anyways, let's.
One thing. I just have one question that I don't understand. That last part that says you can open a portrait, but if you don't have the mercenary, you can still play the mercenary with this portrait until you open the mercenary. I don't get that.
So
isn't opening the portrait opening the mercenary?
You don't, and it's not. So it's kind of like whenever we did the pre-orders, right? So we've got the diamond, let's say Diablo, for example, right? Mm-hmm. You can play the Diamond Diablo. You can't play the base Diablo. You can still open up the base Diablo from packs, supposedly.
So getting your first of any skin is essentially getting the mercenary.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But,
essentially.
So
here's own the mercenary until I have the first skin.
Well, here's what happened, right? This is exactly what happened to me, right? I got the pre-orders, and so this is a perfect example. Like pre-order for Sylvanas comes with the diamond portrait. And so it's cool, you can play as Sylvanas. But as it turns out, you can play with the gold portrait of Sylvanas, but that doesn't mean that you own the base version. And so you can still open the base version in packs. And where that really kind of translated is when these bundles in the shop where it's like, oh yeah, your random legendary. It's like, oh, it's a base model for one that I already have. Because I guess even though I had the gold, it didn't unlock the base version of it.
Right.
Which, so I mean, it's just kind of goofy. And I love the game. It's fun. I keep saying, like, I sort of feel like it's still in beta to some regards, just because there's a lot that still needs work. There's a lot that's not explained. There's a lot that they need to kind of tweak. And I like it. It just needs
It's
some work.
ironic because it's the first of the 3 latest Hearthstone new modes that doesn't have the word beta slapped on it for a while.
Yeah.
Battlegrounds Lane just got out of it. Duels is
Still in.
it still has that. And Mercenaries, like, it's even more big and separate than everything else, not only in the way it plays, but even like they gave it its own thing right on the main menu. And like, you think that they would have that, but maybe they were afraid that putting the word beta on it might make people not want to play it as, so they didn't.
I don't know.
I'm just guessing here.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
So there was a new bundle this week, several bundles actually. So there's the Edwin bundle here. It was $20 US, probably $75 Canadian. They came with the base portrait for Edwin and 10 packs for $20, and 150
coins.
That is
actually really impactful for Edwin in particular.
Yeah.
right. There was also an epic bundle that came with a random epic and 10 packs, I think, or 5 something. I don't remember. Anyways, it was like $10 or something. And so I bought both of these bundles, and because of the the duplicate protection rules, of course I got this Edwin, and then I got Eudora as the epic, which was cool. I then proceeded to get a bunch of packs, which is probably not a great idea. But I was telling Sheep, and maybe this is just random, I don't know. I opened a bunch of golden legendary cards that I was missing, which I was surprised. But in 120 packs, okay, I opened 0 Edwin portraits and zero Edwin coins. And it's like, wow, how is this possible?
Zero.
I don't understand, and I don't mind. Like, I can just grind them out. It's fine. Like, I'm not spending any more money on this until there's another bundle, probably. But like, I was just like, the pack logic is so strange, and either I just super low rolled on coins and Edwin stuff, but I high rolled on others, and I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it seems like you just didn't roll into Edwin at all, right? Like with the duplicate protection.
Well, that's how the coins work, right?
So if you didn't have Edwin at all, like if you hadn't bought the Edwin Extravaganza Mercenaries bundle, then you would have gotten the Edwin, because the duplicate protection makes it to where you can at the very least get Edwin. But since you already had him, it didn't guarantee that you were going to get there, right?
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. I'm excited for new stuff now. We had talked about it a little bit last week. It is kind of funky only being able to get these new cards from the same old packs, and so I'm still opening tons of coins for cards that I have maxed out, and so like, well, maybe I probably should stop buying packs. And they keep saying, hey, there's going to be ways to in the near future to get portraits that you don't have, so just be patient. Okay. Anyways, I assume that my lovely co-host bought these because I know you too.
Yes, sir. Confirmed.
Yeah.
So, Goliath, did you get any of this stuff?
No, I only look, man.
It's probably smart.
I have bills to pay. Just moved out on my own like 4 or 5 months ago. I've got rent. I've got cable bills, not internet bills, whatever, all that stuff. I have to be, and I'm also a horrible at resisting the urge to back awesome D&D Kickstarters that I keep seeing with like, ooh, if you get this book, then you can make games like set in Korea story times, or here's a cool thing with fairies and all this stuff. So like, that is where a lot of my leisure money goes to. The only time I buy something in Hearthstone with real money is when it's like an exclusive skin pack or something, because as I said, I'm a sucker for cosmetics, and so if I feel that this is my only opportunity, then I'll do it. However, that is even less likely these days because, as we've seen, there have been more and more returns of things that you can either buy for gold or craft for gold or whatnot, in a sense, with skins that were previously very exclusive. Like even now, we just got, and sorry if we're jumping ahead, this might have been something you talked about later in the news, but the Jaina and Rexar skins that were initially only available with those bundles when they came out with the Book of Heroes for like 1 week. And for those two, I did kind of fall for like, ooh, I need to get all the skins. Like I have to spend, it's only here for a week or whatnot. And now you can just get them with gold. So I'm more of a save up my gold and avoid spending real money if I can for this type of for this general concept here.
Yeah.
But I still want to get as many skins as possible. And for Battlegrounds, it's a bit more tempting for me, but they have so many different themes. I'm just kind of like, I'll only get the themes I'm interested in. Like the superhero ones didn't really get me, and I'm not super into the Halloween ones right now, but I completely fell for the cute pack, and because I absolutely love having my adorable positive elemental. She I can't remember, was it like Fizzy or something?
Fizzy,
She
so
is the
supportive.
one that I have up all the time. She is adorable. I need her as the positive emotional support in my life. And then let's see. I got another one that the Shadowlands stuff back when that came out. So if it's I'm much more selective. Where is this something that really like speaks to me as a cosmetic that I want, that I'm willing to spend money on? The long and short of it is, you guys are whales. I'm a minnow.
Hey, that's fine. I did want to give a big shout out to Naya, and I know I'm probably butchering the pronunciation, from our Discord, who posted.
I think it was correct in the chat before. I don't know.
It's something like that.
Apologies.
But basically, they posted that they just crafted Edwin from coins, like just grinding out the PvE to get the coins. That is probably the correct way to do this, and we have just taken the financial shortcut, which anyways.
I mean, sometimes you can weigh your dollars per hour. That's how I justify it, right? Like, how many hours, would it take me? So, I mean, that's what I do. I justify it that way because I can click a stupid button and buy it.
Yes.
That's a fair way to think about it, at least. But then, if it's something that you're having fun with as a game and not really thinking of it as work, I don't know if that throws a wrench in the logic or not.
Yeah, it kind of depends on your priorities with it, right? Because once you get the mercenary, then you still have to grind tasks.
A lot of them,
and more coins to upgrade the abilities and stuff. So I think that it's, they kind of dangle the carrot out there to try and incentivize you to spend the money, and they'd be foolish not to. It's a business, right?
For me, the grind, the gradual earning of things is the fun for me. Like, they say these are collectible card games. For me, that means that collectible is part of the game. Otherwise, it's just like, otherwise they would just you buy a set with like a board game and you have all the pieces and you play. For me, it's the collection is the fun part for me.
The genius thing about mercenaries is the fact that you could spend as much money as like in the world that you have on it, and you still have gotten nowhere. You just got the mercs because you have to grind out all of the tasks for all of them. So it doesn't matter how much money you actually have for this.
On the flip side too, you can spend absolutely no money and grind out the coins. And do it completely in the PvE, because that's where you can get coins, or PvP because you get PvP rewards for the chest there, which
I've actually been having more fun in the PvP, ironically. I didn't think I would.
Cool.
Oh, I wouldn't have thought that you would have either. That's surprising.
I love PvE, but I don't know. I think that just the fact that I can just do one match of a PvP and leave because it's complete. But when you start on those tracks, like technically you can leave, but it feels like I'm obligated to a bit more of a time sink.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. All right, let's move on so we can get to this lore. I want to jam through a couple of things super quick. There were some surprises in the patch that they did not announce ahead of time, which were pretty fun to see. And so they went back and retroactively added some coins for old sets. And so
I was so excited about that. Like I said, cosmetics.
yeah, I love this. So there's a dragon coin for the Descent of Dragons. Collect all 140 Descent of Dragon cards. You get the dragon coin.
That looks amazing.
Yeah, it's great. Okay, so what does EVIL stand for? Collect all 136 Rise of Shadow cards to get the evil coin. There is an Ashes of Outland coins called From the Embers. Collect all 135 Ashes of Outland cards. And finally, there is the Saviors of Uldum coin. It says, grab your whip and fedora. Collect all 135 Saviors of Uldum cards to get this. They look very nice in gold, by the way. And so this was fun, and I imagine that they will keep doing this periodically. So that's great. The other thing that was a surprise, and I frankly wish they picked a different card, but this is fine, was that we got a diamond Jandis Baroff. Yeah, so...
A nerfed card.
Yeah, a nerfed card. Yeah, maybe the...
Was she nerfed? I didn't remember that.
Yeah, she
used to
nerfed.
be 5. She was really
is-
playable in Odd Rogue, whenever she was 5.
Yeah.
But
She was actually on our list a while back. We did some... as a team on Out of Cards, we did some articles kind of guessing if they make diamond cards retroactively for all of the other sets, what would it be? And she was on our list as a real possibility because we were thinking of things from like a story perspective in the sense of what our characters were kind of mascots of the sets, and she doesn't quite fall into that, but the logic that several of my co-writers on the site thought of, which fits in here, is that if they're going to go through the trouble of making a card diamond, they're not going to make it one that no one ever plays. They're going to make it one that has seen some action, maybe is a bit on the memeable side, something that will get people's attention in that sense. So like they could have done Headmaster Kel'Thuzad because he's the head of Scholomance Academy, but I never see anyone play Headmaster Kel'Thuzad, so that would be kind of a waste of a diamond from that perspective. So I can understand why they chose her, even if she is not like the main card of the set or anything.
Yeah, and I mean, in standard, I guess 5 cost was pretty cheap. I think in Wild that Jandis could totally be 5 again, and that would be just fine.
yeah.
Well, and it might be again after rotation. We'll see. I wouldn't be too surprised if that one went back.
Yeah, I mean, even at that, I think that her viability in like Odd Rogue is probably not really playable so much anymore. We've kind of moved past that, but maybe the meta will slow down, and mid range will be a thing at some point. We'll see.
There's
As it
always
is,
other modes.
looks incrable.
Oh,
she looks awesome.
Oh, she's very cool. She's got the kind of sway going on, and the hand on the hip is great. I always love the diamond cards.
Attitude.
It is interesting. The diamond cards they're so cool, but they look funky in the collection manager, like because the size of them. But like it's still cool. Hey, we got a cool thing, unannounced surprise. I'm excited. This was nice. But
I turned the page and it's like I can see where it starts out for a split second as the size of a regular card, and it has to grow after like a second of turning the page.
It's kind of
a bit
funny.
Uncanny.
It's pretty weird. We got 2 other kind of surprises that I was not aware were going to be happening, and these have not happened yet, but soon. TM. So one is a new. Supposedly there's going to be a new Edwin bundle coming out. So there's a new Edwin portrait as a rogue hero skin. So if you go in the Hearthstone client under rogue portraits, you can see this. It's in there. It says obtained, or it says, I don't know, it's coming soon or something, but there's an associated card back with this a second Edwin card back, and that's where it says, available by purchasing the Edwin bundle. And I was like, oh, so it's not out yet, but soon. It's exciting. I'm interested in it. Rogue has been missing portraits for ages. Edwin seems great, so that's exciting. The other one that I just found out very late today is for Battlegrounds, but there is a new portrait coming out for Pirate Bob. It's a Pirate Bob the Bartender portrait. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, it looks like there are a couple of other like pirate themed just I was about to say mercenary hero like not portrait but costumes as well, like Saltai patches, Admiral
are they in there
Sourfang,
too? Oh, fun.
Deck
I
Watch
haven't seen those yet.
And they're not in the game yet, but it looks like they'll be coming out. Port Authority Silas. That's pretty cool.
Nice.
Under Cap'n Crag is in like a submarine. That's pretty cool.
Oh,
so there are some, very pirate themed hero not mercenary. Keep on doing that. Battlegrounds.
Yeah.
Things coming there too, including Kingpin Edwin, which makes sense because
all right.
yeah. So
Cool.
Nice. Okay, last little bit of news here. There is just a reminder. We covered this last week, but as a reminder for this coming week, on Tuesday, November the 9th, is the new book of Mercenaries. So Cariel will be coming out for those of you that enjoy this. If you, it's free content, and when you play it all the way through, you get a free Paladin pack. So very cool. They have teased us with the text that one mercenary will not make it out alive. Okay, so we'll see what that is. And then the final thing that I have here is just the news of the bug. And so this was shared by Zeddy earlier today. I don't know, time zones.
yeah, last night / this morning.
Yeah, so there's currently a bug in Wild that if you play the new card Jerry Rig Carpenter from the mini set, that there's an interaction with Oasis, Hidden Oasis, rather, that when it splits the parts into, they cost 0 mana, and so this is the 0 mana 6/6 with taunt, and 0 mana restore 12 health. So there's that. Anyways, I have been watching dev posts all day. They're all shared in our Discord. Long story short, they know about it. They're working on it. There's a hotfix incoming. Wouldn't be surprised if this is out in the next couple of days. This will not require a new update. It's going to be a server-side patch. So anyways.
So what you're saying is play Druid.
or don't play at all. Yeah, one or the other. So
And this is in fact a bug, not how it's supposed to work. Sheep.
definitely not intended.
You're a bad sheep.
Oh dear.
I'd say he's the black sheep of this group here.
Lovely. That's pretty funny.
Before we move on, I think that there is one other. I'm not sure if this got into your. It's not the official news, but we have out of cards managed to data mine. We know what the next set is going to be. Did you read up on any of that at all?
Oh, I did. I'm not sure that I want to spoil it for everybody.
No.
It's probably walking on thin ice there. Maybe not everybody wants to know.
I'm excited by it. I think that
if you want to know, we have an article on the Out of Cards website. But yeah, we'll keep it off the air here.
Actually, this will be great. We can start prepping the lore for it early.
I know, right?
I think that it was sort of predictable based on, like, we knew it's like, okay, well, here's Alliance, here's Horde, and then...
The moment I saw the teaser art and that we knew the first one was Horde, I guessed Blue was going to be Alliance, so it was pretty obvious to me, but they've thrown me through loops before, so I wasn't going to assume, but it turns out my guess was right.
Well, that's exciting, and I won't spoil it quite yet, but it's in our Discord. It's on Out of Cards if you're interested in checking it out. It is interesting, and I'm excited to get there. Just a quick note for everybody. Typically, we would have a section on the show where we're talking about kind of the meta and decks and all that sort of thing, and we're going to forgo that this week because we're talking about lore, and also because that the meta is kind of a jumbled mess right now between all of the brand new cards coming out, but also the druid bug, and so I think we will just hold off on that until next week.
The carpenter ant is supposed to be a carpenter pirate, so they'll get that ironed out, and we'll get there.
Right. I think for simplicity's sake, I am going to just split this episode into 2 parts, and we'll call this the end of part 1, and then jump into lore in part 2. For
That's sensible to me.
For everybody's listening enjoyment. So thank you all for participating in part 1.
3 hours later.
All right, well, that is kind of it for the lore portion of this show. Trying to figure out how I'm gonna mash these episodes up. I might just cut this portion of it, be the part 2, and then continue on with our weekly challenge and kind of wrapping up here. But yeah, this is exciting, and moving on really quickly to the weekly challenge, I do think that we were going to use kind of the Deadmines and pirate theme for our weekly challenge this week, which will be quite fun. So before we talk about this week's challenge, I wanted to briefly talk about last week's challenge given to us by Sunday. And it was called Undead Man's Hand. And the idea here was to use Dead Man's Hand and create a deck. So here's what Sunday said. This past week, we'll be using Dead Man's Hand. But that won't be the only dead thing in this deck. You'll need to build and refine a Dead Man's Hand list using only cards that are undead or contain undead in the art. You can consider Death Rattle cards, but they must be thematic. And so we had a little quorum going on earlier in the show, trying to determine who the winner would be. And as it turns out, it's you. So congratulations to Goliath the Dwarf as the winner of our last week's challenge here. And I think this is a lot of fun. I really liked looking at this, and I think that maybe you have an advantage because the difference between what's undead and what's not, and
right. There were a few times where I kept on having to refine what I built because I realized that there were a couple that I had put in without thinking, but on closer look, oh wait, that's not actually an undead. It doesn't fit into one of the particular species. That's I initially did, I put the Acolyte of Pain because I thought, skeleton, undead. Wait, he's just a guy wearing a skull face paint or something. He's not really undead. Out you go. You don't fit with the theme.
Can't fool me.
Oh,
this
that's
is honestly
great.
how I build decks anyway. So I was happy to have a reason for it to actually be good.
Oh my
goodness.
goodness.
Out of curiosity, on what qualifications did I win? Did you like the thematics, or was it actually viable, or what?
I don't know. It's probably a kind of a combination. I mean, it's very subjective, but looking at it, it was, for me personally, at least, I looked at it and I felt thematically it was very on point, and Schmoopies was great. It was a lot of fun, and it was a little different theme there, kind of based on Michael Jackson's Thriller, which I thought was hilarious.
Oh yeah,
with the mailbox dancer, and that was very
yeah.
funny. But I think that this was a little bit more fitting for the theme. It actually made me want to dive in and do a whole other lore episode and ask him, sitting here looking at these cards, and I was like, oh, Forge of Souls, let's talk about that. Let's talk about this. Oh, what is, I see a soul, this Valkyrie soul claimer, oh, let's talk about that. Oh, Baron
There's plenty
Rivendell.
of story involved in those, definitely.
Fugan and Stalag and Lotheb and
yeah. I mean, Naxxramas sold it for me going a little back.
Yeah, if I had the Lich King and Terran Glorfiend, I would have totally put them in there. Those are legendaries I unfortunately do not have, but they're two of my favorite thematic and character-wise in the undead category. But so that's great. Now, what should this week's challenge be then? We were talking about a couple of ideas beforehand.
So I believe the idea here was that this new set contains a whole mess of pirate and pirate-themed cards, and so I believe that the challenge was going to be based on building a deck of pirates for particularly with a class that doesn't normally run pirates, and so warrior would be out, rogue would be out, priest. You may be used to do it, but there's too many. Pirate Priest is actually a viable deck in Wild, and so we got to cut that one.
I find ladder pretty quickly with it, honestly.
Yeah, it's pretty solid. So
what about Druid?
Oh,
I mean,
that's tricky right now. What do we factor in the bug or not?
No. Well, here's what I would say. There's got to be some kind of rule where at least like I don't know 3/4 of the cards are like pirate cards. Like I don't want a token.
Yeah.
I don't want a token druid. Like I want a pirate deck.
Agreed.
And so
let's say a certain because pretty much almost for most of these classes, almost all of the pirates are going to be neutral anyway. So let's say that maybe at least what do you guys think? Half, 3/4 of any neutral cards that you have in there have to be pirates, or maybe it should be a certain amount of pirates, a certain number in general. But should we keep in mind that people's collections might not necessarily have that many?
Pirates and weapons.
Yeah, I mean, thematically, it really needs to be a pirate-themed deck, especially with the new cards. I mean, I don't want to say that this is a paid only challenge, but like there's pirates. I want it to be pirate-themed, and so
yeah.
Pirate synergies too. Doesn't need to be pirate. There is pirate synergies.
Sure.
Very true.
Like Galaka Crawler.
Hey, there you go.
Is Captain's Parrot a pirate?
Type's canon.
No, it's a beast.
No, but pirate synergy I think is fine. It's the theme that I'm more so looking for. And so these the parrots are beasts, but like they go along, right? And so
exactly synergies
and flavor, kind of like this
theme.
This Deadman's Hand was like
the ships or whatnot too. Like we can even allow some of like the airship stuff from the Galacron fights and whatnot. They have a lot of the airship battle things. I think we could probably allow that sort of thing too. They're sort of like sky pirates. So let's say I can include things like pirates, parrots, ships, cannons. You can
weapons,
make weapons. If you think of something else, you can try to make a case for it. Maybe that will be up to the judge's own personal opinion, discretion about whether it actually qualifies. But I mean, I would encourage people to look for creative ways in order to do this, because you want to create a it has to work decently well with your class. To some extent. That's one of the great things. We have cards that are now ties from being a pirate, and also, they work with like a feature of like a spell school or whatnot. Like, what does the mage one do? It has to do with freezing things or something, doesn't it?
I don't recall. But hey, bonus points if you use a class that normally doesn't play pirates. Pirate Mage? Yes. Oh, yes, please. And I think that, as we've been talking about Deadmines Lore all night, hey, you want to throw a Sneasel Shredder into the deck? By all means, go for it. Like Deadmine,
definitely.
Deadmine themed. Like, hey, that's cool. Throw Vanessa in there. Throw Sneasel Shredder in there. Rip. All right. Well, maybe not then, but you know what I mean.
Discover Vanessa.
So anyways, yes, we want to see these. It'll be fun. The way that you participate is to build the deck, take some screenshot of it, post it in our Discord. You would do this. There's a channel in there called Weekly Challenges. That's where you would do it. If there's any confusion at all, this is pretty straightforward. But you're free to contribute any thoughts along with your deck if you'd like to. We will select the winner on next week's show. And the winner will get 2 packs on us, and of course, bragging rights and a position of honor in our new Hall of Fame on our website. So you'll be immortalized in artwork. Exciting, fun times. Liking the Pirates, liking the Deadmines. This is a lot of fun. So looking forward to what everyone has to offer up here.
Excitement abounds. Let's go.
All right. Well, hey, everybody, that pretty much is a wrap for our show tonight. Again, a giant thank you to Goliath for hanging out with us. Before we end the show here, I do want to say a big thank you to the patrons of our show. First and foremost, Shokunin, thank you so much for your continued support. As the executive producer of our show, your support is always very much appreciated. And to our patrons, Disruptor108, Claudette G, Daniel B, Wildcard, RM Moore, Ben from Work, Turtle Boy, and Number Theory, thank you all so much. It is your help is appreciated. If anyone who is watching this live, watching it on YouTube, listening to the audio version of this is interested in helping us out, supporting us financially, you can donate to our Patreon. You can find it on our website, which is borntobewildhs.com. If you click on the Find Us page, there's a link to the Patreon. If you're somebody who is on Twitch a lot, we do have several emotes that you can unlock by subscribing to us that are really fun. And so, yeah, that's my pitch. Hey, Goliath, thank you again so much for hanging out with us, for sharing these stories with us, for dressing in theme. It was so great. I love it. Absolutely love it. So, yeah, thank you again so much. Where can people find you or check out your content online?
So, if you like what I do here on the shows, then you can check out my lore guides on out-of-dot-cards. We actually have some stuff that's been going on recently. I would encourage you to join if you haven't before. Check out the site if you've been away for a while, because we have an event going on right now, a Halloween-themed one called Ooze Fest, where we have, I actually designed several crossword puzzles. Hydra's done at least one of them, and I actually got carried away and made like a ton of them, but people seem to really enjoy them. And we have like scavenger hunts where you look all over the sites and you can get like candy in order to get like special cosmetics for like your avatar and stuff. We also have a really big winter holiday event called Snowpocalypse in the works. Like bigger than anything we've done on the site so far. We're working on maybe like people involved with teams, and you're going to have like snow forts, and I'm actually working on writing a bit of lore for the event. So if you're interested in maybe some custom Goliath original out-of-cards story type material, that will be coming to the website. I can't really say any more, partially because of NDAs, because I'm an employee there, also because there's stuff, lots of it we're still working on and I don't know yet, but I would heartily encourage you to, one, stop by my guides if you like the content, but we also have content about so many different things, like all the different Hearthstone game modes. We also have things about other games. We occasionally some things about Magic the Gathering, Mythgard, Legends of Runeterra, and we're planning on expanding into other domains at some point in the future. So yeah, feel free to stop by Cards anytime. I get a little extra every time you view an ad on my site, so please don't have ad blocker up when you come to see my stuff. But technically, I do have a Twitch channel. I haven't streamed in months because I don't have a steady schedule that really leaves me with the energy to find time to stream, but I'll get to it one of these days. if you, for whatever reason, want to be alerted to whenever that happens at some point in the future, you can find me on Twitch at Goliath the Dwarf. So Goliath the Dwarf, 3 words that are mushed into one, each starting with a capital letter. That's how you can find me on Twitch. But aside from that, I'm generally pretty active in the Born to be Wild Discord as well. So if anyone ever has any lore questions, we have a channel for this stuff. Feel free to hit me up. Go ahead, tag me, whatnot. I love answering these types of questions. You can tell from the fact that I'm here. So by all means, fire away if you want to know what the heck this card is.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, that's awesome. I absolutely love it. Thank you again. Sheep, I will pass the mic over to you. Where can people find you online?
Yeah, I can be found, of course, in the Born to be Wild Discord, like the Juggernaut, firing lore questions at Goliath the Dwarf from time to time, and hanging out outside of that. Elsewhere on the internet, I can be found at Electric Sheep City, places where that fits, like Twitch, and at eSheep City at places where that doesn't fit, like Twitter. How about you, Hydra? Where on the internet can you be found?
You guys can always find me at hydralisk_HS on Twitter and Twitch, and you can also find me in the Discord where we've got great discussion about all stuff wild. We do have categories for everything else, so if you're looking for a great community to come, just hang out, talk about the game, talk about anything, I highly recommend it. Nate, how about you?
Oh yeah, definitely. So I'm pretty active on Twitter. It's Nate Wolf TCG, NateWolfe TCG. And yes, also very active through our Discord channel, which is a lot of fun. We did a little bit of reorganization not too long ago, and so things are grouped together in a somewhat more logical fashion. And I just love to see it, especially. Of course, all of the game stuff, we talk about decks, we talk about cards, but it's always fun to see people posting their, the stuff that they do outside this game. We talk about other games. We talk about what we're watching. We talk about, I see photos, especially during this kind of, Halloween season or whatever. Like I'm posting pictures of my neighbor's giant skeleton, and people are posting pictures of, the leaves changing with the fall season and just all kinds of stuff. It's just been a lot of fun. It's like good wholesome content, and so I've been really enjoying that. If you're interested in checking out the Discord, it's easy to find. Go to our website, borntobewildhs.com, click on the Find Us page. There's a link to the Discord. You can join it. It's free. It is just nice kind of community engagement, and good wholesome content there. So yeah, that's about it. We do post everything on the website, borntobewildhs.com. I've got another kind of big update to do this weekend, just making sure that it's caught up and current. But yeah, that's about it. Final note for us, we've been ending the show with a kind of special shout out. And it's always fun just to celebrate community. I think that's one of the things that we particularly enjoy here is the wild community coming together and celebrating each other. So for me, I do want to give a giant shout out to Maxi Bon, our good friend, who beyond this is like skill level 9,000, right? Managed to obtain rank 1 legend and hold it the entire month of October. Which is just an incredible feat. And so I was just like, oh my goodness. It's so very, very talented. And like, yes, it's like,
it's amazing.
I think at one point,
go on his resume one day, right? Hearthstone virtuoso,
Yeah. At one point he lost it for a couple hours and fought hard to get it back and like successfully maintained, like ended the day at rank 1 legend the entire month. It's just phenomenal. Yeah. So
when the friends list used to have the glitch where it would show that you're the wrong legend rank and you like scroll it up and down to like fix it. I was doing that on his name, like rolling it up and down, seeing if one was correct, because it was like that all month. And it was right.
Oh wow, yeah, that's great. So anyway, big shout out Max Fun, congratulations. That's an incredible accomplishment. Well done. Well done. Hydra, what about you?
Yeah, I wanted to give a shout out to Lord Zav, who, if you've been playing Wild for a while, you may know Lord Zav. They've been in the community, hitting high legend, and, just recently been playing a lot of Mercs and was on top of the leaderboard there. And exciting news, Lord Zav posted on Twitter that they got accepted into Hype Horizon on the Hype Rising team. So Lord Zav is now streaming, doing the Hype Rising thing for Hype Horizon. So I just wanted to say congratulations and shout out to Lord Zav.
Hey, that's super cool. Yeah, big up, Zav. That's great.
Absolutely.
All right. Yeah, Sheep, what about you? I'm sorry, I skipped you.
No worries. I wanted to give a big shout out to our pretty much stalwart community member Ari Morn, who is always here, always hanging out, always in the Discord, always just with a positive thing to say, with like fantastic, like making everyone feel great, and legitimately so too. It's not just like lip service, right? Like just incredible person, Ari Morn. Big shout outs to you because you are incredible, and we benefit by having you in our community greatly.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. All right. Last word, Goliath. Any parting shout outs or words of wisdom that you would like to share with us before we call it a night?
Okay. Well, I would like to shout out, of course, Flux Flasher, who is the leader of Out of Cards, because he's been doing some great leadership on updating the sites and really bringing us into grow into the future. Strongly recommend people check out the site again. And I think that he's just a great person to work with overall. I also like to give a shout out to my good buddies Shibo and Namioki, who at the very least are relevant because they're the ones responsible for that little Goliath meme that we put up. Namioki made the art for it. Shibo combined it into the card, and I think it's hilarious. So yeah, definitely check out their content. They are on YouTube and Twitch. They haven't been super active lately due to real life issues, but they're both very eager to come back whenever they have the opportunity. And parting words of wisdom, I would say make sure that you arrange everything in your house so that if there is a flood, it doesn't get damaged.
Oh, very good. Hey, wiser words were never spoken. And you heard that. Born to be wild.
Perfect.
Do what you want, cause Defiance is free. You are Defiance. Yar har fiddle-dee-dee. Being Defiance is alright with me. Do what you want, cause Defiance is free. You are Defiance. You are Defiance. Yeah, we got us a ship. The Juggernaut will soon set sail with cannons we'll assail, and great goblin machines. We'll load up our guns, set a course for Stormwind City, light the pieces for fun, and blow it to smithereens. Yar har diddly fast. If you like to have a blast, you are Defiance. Yar har fiddle-dee-dee. Being Defiance is alright with me. Do what you want, cause Defiance is free. You are Defiance. Yar, isn't it fine? Digging a stronghold inside the Deadmines. The life of an outlaw is simply divine. You are Defiance. Yay! We follow Van Cleef. We steal and burn all Stormwind's lands, our band of cutthroats and thieves, led by our daring crew, with Greenskin in command, and Mr. Smite to give him back up. No foe of our can withstand when the Juggernaut pursues. Yar har diddly dow. If you love to plunder wealth, you are Defiance. Land ho! Yar har diddly dee. Being Defiance is alright with me. Do what you want, cause Defiance is free. You are Defiance. Yar har. Come lads, get some of Cookie's stew. You'll have so much fun when you join in our crew. You are Defiance. Yes, you are Defiance.